Hello, thanks for tuning in and welcome to the pool party. I hope you can swim because we're definitely diving into the deep end with a huge splash of truth, facts, evidence, information, and proof. Swim. Say what you mean. It's talk about talking. How we listen, how we hear, how we speak, how we hear what we're listening to when we speak, how a listener hears what we're saying, if what we're saying, what they're actually hearing and or understanding. Is it clear? Swim. Say what you mean. Well, that's just the beginning of understanding, because after we get that understanding, how do we accept it? How we respond if it's not what we expect is paramount. Are you okay with the truth? Are you man, woman, human, or spiritual enough to accept the truth? Let's find out. Welcome to The Swimming Pool with your host, Travis Bridges.
Bam! Good evening, everybody, and welcome to The Swimming Pool. Swimming Pool with Travis Bridges. That would be yours truly. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really, really do appreciate it. It's hump day. It's the middle of the week. 2 more days and you're in for the weekend. You know, many people like, here I am. Many people really like getting into the weekend, but I never got into that. You know, fortunately, I have been in Anthropo Negro for quite a long time, and the weekend really is just like another day for me. I don't have a 9 to 5. I do work 9 to 5 hours, but I don't necessarily punch a clock, you know, for lack of a better word. So with that being said, you know, I like to celebrate the weekend because I know it means so much to so many other people. As a matter of fact, the weekend means work for me. As a musician, I have to go to work. Yes, I go to work on the weekend, so it's not like a break for me. But every day is a day that the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it. That. All right, let's see what I got going on here. Yeah, here, there, and everywhere. Okay, I have a guest that's coming up in just a few minutes. I'm in Studio A now. I'm going to switch over to Studio B after I take a break. But it's going to be interesting. It's talking about feminine energy and masculine responsibilities. A few weeks ago, I talked about the difference between a man and a woman. Is there a difference between a man and a woman? Of course there is. One is a male, one is a female. But are we equal? Yes, we are in terms of being human being. But are we equal? Are we the same? Yes and no. But I want your answer, yes or no. Is a man and a woman the same? Is a man and a woman equal? And if there are any differences, what are there? And if there are enough differences, is there enough difference to remove the word equal to something else? Because you can't separate the two and the two be different and then say they're equal, or then talk about the differences and then say they are the same. I'm going to try to leave it right there. And I'm going to speak with my guest about some of that, but I'm going to tell you my guest is Ken, and we've already agreed to come back and talk about what I left off a few weeks ago. I really want to get into that and talk about it and solve that chicken and the egg situation about a man and a woman and the similarities and the differences once and for all, because I'm tired of the fight, you know, about it. Anyway, I also want to talk about feelings and emotions. Man, what has happened to me? I don't know, but my life is changing big time. Now that I'm getting older, it's like I'm definitely going through some type of change. The way I see things, the way I see people, you know, just my perception is just different altogether. Seems like complicated things are simple and simple things are complicated. But that's just between me. Sometimes I really wish I had more than one therapist. Sometimes I wished I could just talk to people. like now. I'm kind of sort of talking to myself, and it's therapy for me to show up here on a Wednesday night. I'm going to come back with my saxophone at some point in time. I don't know when it is, but one of these nights you're going to tune in and I'm going to be like letting it rip, all saxophone. But as for now, it's SWIM, SWIM. That is the acronym for Say What You Mean. You should do that. Anyway, Christine is in the house. Appreciate you, Christine. I really, really, really do. I have another Christine as my guest coming up. Maybe I'll have both of y'all on at the same time. But anyway, I'm going to take a really short break and I'm going to come back with my guest, and it's going to be not too long tonight, okay? Do me a favor, hold the spot you got. I'll be right back.
Mighty Horn Music. Smooth jazz, top 40, R&B, inspirationals, and more. Live from the Hollywood Home Studio. Like, share, subscribe. And thanks for tuning in.
Good evening and welcome to SWIM. I am your host, Travis Bridges. SWIM, that's right, SWIM. That is the acronym for Say What You Mean. It's important that you do that. Ask me why. Go ahead, I'll wait. Okay, it's important because I am convinced that saying what you mean, meaning what you say, cuts down on a lot of confusion. If you're able to say exactly what you mean, listen carefully now. What you mean is not what you feel, what you think, or what you believe, but what's actually coming out of your mouth. See, it's very difficult to do being mind, body, and spirit and being emotional beings. It's very difficult to detach how we feel sometimes from what we say. You ever open your mouth and said something and then later on you said, oh, I shouldn't have said that. You're reacting based on your emotions and you're acting based on how you feel. Or, you ever had a situation where you believe something so strongly and someone says something against it and then you are up to defend that really fast. And then when you think about it, you say, well, that's logic. It makes sense. Okay, at least I can respect how someone who may not believe the way I believe may be able to say what they say, but my strong belief will cause me to respond in a way that even goes against logic. Not that you can't, because beliefs are just that. Something doesn't have to be true, factual, or evident for you to have a strong, powerful belief. So when I say what you mean, I mean that. Say what's coming out of your mouth, not what you were thinking about or how you were feeling or what you have a strong, powerful belief in. So with that being said, I have a post that I'm responding to, and I have a guest that I'm going to get up who's standing by actually waiting for me, and I'm going to get that guest on the phone in just a couple of seconds. But what I want to do before I do that is pull up the actual post that we are going to discuss. Oh, here it is right here. Okay, let's see if I can get my guest on the phone and we will be rocking and rolling. By chance, if you'd like to chat with me, I'd love to chat with you. Travis Bridges 2 at AOL.com is how you can reach me via email. Okay?
Mom.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, bro. How are you?
Not bad. Let me do a test on your microphone. Say that again. Say, hey, how are you?
Hey, how are you?
Okay, that's good. That's okay. Are you in a place where you can hang out with me for the time we allotted, and you have either a Bluetooth or you're holding your phone, you're not on speaker, and nobody's going to interrupt you for at least the next 20 minutes or so?
Should be like that. I don't know how he may come downstairs and have something to say, but he's all right. I'm
okay.
Good.
All right,
Yeah,
that's cool.
And I have my Bluetooth on.
Okay, all right. So let's go for it. First of all, it's been a long time. My audience will not know who you are because I believe in focusing on the message and not the messenger. But just for the record,
Okay.
we go back some 30 years.
Oh, my God.
And it's been a
my
long
God,
time.
baby.
I remember the moments, during our season. And once we get off the air, by the way, we're live now. Once we get off,
Okay.
I'm going to reach back out to you and we're just going to resurrect some of those moments and just see where we were, because 30 years ago, I was a young, good-looking Boy, what? I was somebody totally different than what I am
My
today.
brother from another mother.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, let's go back and talk about that at some point in time. But now, what I want to do is talk about what I called you for, or what I reached out to you for. Before I do that, do you know anything at all about my platform, SWYM Swim?
I don't.
Okay, well, let me
I don't.
just.
Please educate.
Okay, I will. And then if you have any questions before we jump in, then you can ask me. It's called SWIM, SWYM. That is the acronym for Say What You Mean. And over my years, I'm going to say, starting at about that 30-year mark whenever I first met you, I began to live my life and discover certain things about me, people, and society that just kind of sort of didn't make sense. And then I heard a preacher say one time, the only thing that separates us from the image that we're created in is how we think and what we say. And he said something to the effect of, unlike God, we will think something and won't say it, or we will say something and then won't mean it, or we will say we're going to do something and won't follow up on it. The one thing about our Creator is that when He says something, it comes to pass because He believes in the power of His words and blah. He just went down that path. So I started putting two and two together, and with my life experiences, and I am 100% totally convinced that world peace can really happen if we are willing to listen and hear, analyze what we're actually saying, what someone else is saying, and remove our personal agendas out the way. That's very difficult to do between husbands and wives, brothers and sisters, neighbors, and even countries. It's hard to look at basic logic. 1 + 1 is 2. If something gets to a certain temperature, it's going to boil. If it gets to another temperature in the other direction, it's going to freeze. Those are basic principles that you cannot change. And every situation we face has those same principles. Certain things you cannot change. And I believe if we have chaos, let's just say you and me, we're into it about something, and we put all the information on the table. If we really want to resolve that conflict, all I have to do is listen to you, then you listen to me. And then we break down what each other is saying. And then before you know it, we will be left with the only thing that is visible and audible or evident as to how we should resolve the issue. Because we only have a problem because you want something that I don't want, or vice versa. Does what I said make any sense?
I agree.
Okay, so I'm not alone.
I agree 100%.
Okay.
However,
Oops.
one thing to that I will stress is that people have to be willing to get past themselves
Okay.
in order to bring peace.
Okay, well, okay, hold on a second. I said that.
That you just made.
I said that.
The same quotation that you made when you say that for two people to be together, if they sit down and listen to each other's sides, they should be able to come into common ground. But in order to come to common ground, you got to get past yourself.
Right. Well, that's what I meant when I said remove your personal agendas out the way. Remove your that's very difficult to do, though, right?
Absolutely, it is.
You have to be very mature in order to do that, because it's not easy. Because guess what? If I want something, I want it. If I think I can get it, I might do something to manipulate in some kind of way to get it. It's very difficult to say, okay, I can't put my personal agenda in this, and I've got to be okay with what is. But not everybody's mature that way. And that's why if you find two people arguing about anything, or a group of people arguing, it's because they're not listening to the other. There's just pretty much, some standard things.
Absolutely.
Yeah, some standard things on this planet. No man can live without water. No man can live without food. We need sunshine. We need exercise. Those are things that are basic that cannot be changed.
Absolutely.
Okay, so here's my last question before we get into it. So you understand what I mean when I say what you mean, not say what you believe, not say what you feel, what you think, or what you want, but what's actually coming out of your mouth. If you can connect what's coming out of your mouth with what you're actually thinking, not necessarily thinking, if what's coming out of your mouth is what you really mean and a whole lot less of how you feel, that's important. But do you have any questions before I ask you one quick question before moving on?
No,
Okay.
I don't.
Okay,
No, I
here's
don't.
here's a couple questions I like to ask my guests. Do you believe there's a solution to every problem and an answer to every question? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, good. Now we can move on. So, on your social media today, I ran into something that had to do with, a post. And I know you.
Yes.
You have a way of opening your mouth sometimes, and I can't tell if you're serious or not. First, before I read
Right.
what your post said, are you serious about what you said? Yes or no, or what you're posting? Or you said truth.
I am serious about that post.
Okay, so now let me read to my guest what we're discussing. The post goes as follows. To release her feminine energy, you gotta take away her masculine responsibilities. Explain to me what you mean by that.
Okay. Well,
Oh, by the way, our
We're
clock is
talking-
starting now.
I'm-
Our clock is starting now. So go.
Okay.
Okay.
awesome. Well, what I mean by that is everybody has a role. Everyone in a household, if you're a couple, everyone has a role. Most heterosexual men want feminine women next to them. They want to be able to say, she's tender, she's gentle. I don't want to be out there hammering the house with my husband. And I'm not saying anything against women who do. That's their choice. My choice is just a little more laid back. As a woman, I feel my role, if I was a household wife that stayed home all the time, I would have dinner ready. I would have everything ready. He would live like a king because he's the one providing. And he deserves that. That's the generation or the thinking that I come from.
Okay.
But we both are employed. So, but we still have gender roles in our household. My husband is the one who gets out there and mows the lawn. I might go out there and plant some flowers after he mows the lawn.
Okay,
But
wait. Something happened to your audio.
Lawn.
Something happened to your audio. I don't know. You made some kind of shift. What did you say about planting flowers and mowing the lawn?
I said my husband is the one who goes out there and mows the lawn. I may go out there and plant some flowers after he mows the lawn, but I don't want to mow the lawn.
Okay.
Yeah. We both cook, but primarily I do the cooking because I feel that's more of my role. My hours are less than his hours, so I give him that extra time to get the needed space he needs to recover.
Okay. Okay, that's good. I appreciate that. But I want to zero in on what was actually said in the actual message. And here's what it says. I'm going to read it again. To release her feminine energy, you got to take away her masculine responsibilities.
Okay.
What is
Now,
a masculine
when I say
responsibility?
that-
What is a masculine
Okay.
responsibility?
Well, a masculine responsibility would be a woman in a household with a man, and he's unemployed. He's doing nothing to provide to the household. He's doing nothing to provide to her life, but yet she's the one going to work. She's the one out there mowing the lawn. She's coming in. She's cooking. That he's not playing his part. That's the masculine role. If he took some of those things away from her and he did his share, see, everybody wants to give 50%. You don't give 50% in your relationship. You give 100%. Everybody gives 100% all the time.
Okay.
So that masculine role would be, while you're sitting there on your tush and I'm cooking, you could be mowing the lawn. Why do I have to wait till the weekend when I'm off to go do something that you should be doing? He would be treated more like a king if he took some of those things away. I don't want to hang up a TV. My husband's going to hang up the TV. Yeah, that's where I stand.
Was your example a real live example? Everything you just described in a man, is that something realistic that you know of for certain, or were you just using that as an exaggerated example?
Oh, I know those examples for sure, because I have sister friends. We all talk, and of course we share things that we go through, and I watch different scenarios of things that friends are going through in their lives, and some of the men they got, and I'm like, you know, I'm not here to judge anyone. If that's her style, go right ahead, but bro is not doing anything, and you doing it all. Girl, what's the problem with that? Yeah, there's a problem there.
Okay.
You know, I grew up in a household where my dad was the provider. Yes, my mom worked, but her income was a secondary thing. Her income was more of the fun thing because he was the provider. And I think if we took some of that and went back to some of that, it would be a lot more respect in each other's positions. There would be a lot more respect for men, and there would be a lot more respect for women, being women.
So based on that, a woman would respect a man more if he did more things that are gender related.
I think so, yes. Yes.
So respect.
Because that allows her to be feminine in her own way.
So a woman can't be feminine unless a man is doing masculine things.
Oh, no, I disagree with that. She can still absolutely be feminine even if she was the one out there doing the hammering and doing the mowing of the lawn.
Okay,
She
hold
can
on
still
right
be
there.
feminine.
Okay, hold on. Well, the post says to release her feminine energy, you've got to take away the masculine responsibilities. That suggests that if a woman may have picked up in some kind of way some kind of masculine responsibilities, that now she's withholding her feminine energy, because in order to release, you have to be able to hold or withhold. Yes or no?
I agree with that.
Okay.
I agree with that statement.
Okay, so
But yes, I do also feel that a woman is holding some of her feminine side when she has to provide all those things. Because then when that man does come along, that relieves her of those things. It's like a huge woosah. You know? It's like, finally, you know? That's the thinking of a lot of women.
of course
Now,
it
women
is.
today may think a whole lot different because genders are different. I spoke with my son on that subject, and he says, well, Mom, my wife very well wants to go out there and mow the lawn on the tractor. And I don't disagree with that. I said, but that's her choice. But if she knew that's something she had to do compared to something she wants to do, it's two different feelings.
Okay. Well, this is why I wanted to address this concern, because somehow or another it suggests that a woman cannot, will not, or is more likely to withhold her feminine energy if she is looking at, I guess, her significant other, and he may not be living up to what she thinks he's living up to. So she's going to be less feminine because of what she sees. Is that?
Well, you got to, well, yeah, I agree with that statement because femininity is so many things. It could be the way she touches his hand, gently.
Okay, let me just say
The way
something.
she looks into his eyes.
Okay, hold on. Let me just say something. I'm going to speak from the other side. You're pretty much speaking from a woman's perspective, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, so
That's
let
the
me.
only perspective I know.
Okay,
'Cause
I'm
I'm a
not.
woman.
I'm not going to necessarily speak from a man's perspective. I'm going to speak from a logical perspective. Okay, with that being said,
Okay.
as a man myself, I don't care what a woman is or is not doing. My masculine energy is going to be ready and available at all times. And I'm not going to hold back if for whatever reason my significant other chooses not to wash the dishes or cook or do anything that would be considered feminine responsibilities or whatnot. I, especially if I have a commitment in that relationship and or marriage, with the knowledge I have now and today, I'm going to always 100% be a man, and my masculine energy is not going to be held or withheld based on the actions or inactivity of someone else. So when I hear you say that, it sort of kind of makes me feel like, okay, a woman is going to be selective based on what she feels or what she feels a man is or is not doing, how she perceives what a man is or is not doing. If for whatever reason, if those situations you just named, it sounds like if, a man is doing what you just, described, especially if a woman is intelligent, and most women are, maybe it would be time for counseling, or maybe it would be time for, a difference in a perspective in how you see it. Because if you have a man that has gotten to that point, I don't think most women will start off like that. And if relationships or personalities turn into that, it happened for a certain reason. And I think that's what I was addressing in the beginning when I talked about communicating, talking, hearing, and listening. And if you're connected with someone enough to where you have a commitment, to where you are, in a committed relationship within a household, particularly a marriage, I believe a woman could get the attention of a man if she wanted to. If she really wanted to, she can have communication and conversation with a man, in order to pull the best out of him as he would pull the best out of her. So I don't want to say I have a problem with the post, but I think it starts the beginning of chaos when anyone, whether it's a man or a woman, if they're withholding what they were created to be because of the actions or inactions or inactivity of someone else. I'm going to be the best that I can be, regardless of what you do. If you lie to me, that's not going to make me become a liar. If you cheat on me, I'm not going to cheat just because you cheated. If you're being lazy, I'm not going to hold or withhold my masculine energy. And if a woman finds herself, or anyone finds themselves waiting for someone else to remove a particular responsibility or remove what looks like a responsibility, you're going to automatically have problems. Intelligence would say, okay, I see something that I don't like. I've got to use my whatever I have. You got to use what you got, So
and I agree with that.
Okay, so that's
I agree with
okay.
you
Hold on,
to
let
a
me
degree.
finish. Hold on, let me finish, because whether you agree or not, I just want to say this, and then we're going to be, kind of heading towards the gate now. I did not have a problem with the post. I just thought the post was promoting ingenuineness and promoting more problems as opposed to creating. What I really wanted to say was, why would a woman be picking up masculine responsibilities, and why would a woman have to release it? I don't have to release. I am masculine energy. I don't have to release it. When I walk into the room, when I pick up the phone and talk to you, there's masculine energy right there. If I'm doing any kind of withholding, I'm being disingenuine to who I am and what I represent and what the role I'm supposed to play in a committed relationship, particularly in a heterosexual, as you said. If my significant other, if she's, for whatever reason has fallen off, it's not my place to then fall off, because two wrongs will not make any kind of right. And I don't care how many girlfriends get together
100% agree.
and start talking. So I done said mine, and I'm the end. I'm just going to now hear what you have to say about what I said and anything else. So move forward.
Okay, well, my statement to that is, again, that's from a male perspective. Women are emotional creatures. Our feelings are different. And there are things that sometimes when you're in a marriage that depletes you and takes you down. And it's up to your partner to see what they're doing and contributing to that's bringing you down, to then redirect themselves to help you come up. Partnership is it's 100% and 100%. Again, women are emotional creatures. And speaking with a girlfriend of mine the other day, I'll give you a quick example. She has been with her man for a period of time, but there's things that he's not providing her. It's not my job to say, well, maybe you need a new man. That's not my job.
Is that how you
However,
feel? Is that what you think? Do you think she needs a new man?
Well,
yes or no?
Would I think she needs a new
Yes
man?
or no?
No, I think that no, because I think she needs to find out what's going on with him that's holding him down or bringing him down. She's supposed to be his other side to help bring him up.
Okay, let me interject real quick. Okay, just hear me. This is very important, and just hear me out before you jump in. And I like your dialogue. Thank you for the way you're interacting with me. I appreciate it. I just want to say this. No one's responsible for bringing me up, and no one's responsible for bringing me down. If I'm down because I'm down. Doesn't mean someone can't contribute to that, or someone can't be the cause of it, but I still have to make my choice. And when I hear you say that, we cannot take responsibility for how someone feels, and we cannot be responsible, for allowing someone to make us feel a certain kind of way. So when you say that, I don't want to interrupt you. And it's not that I don't agree with it. I just would like to add to it. No one brings you down.
And I don't disagree with that.
No one brings us down.
I don't disagree with that. However, my belief in a marriage being 100% and 100% giving, your partner can kind of make you feel down because, for women, we're emotional creatures. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. You have to remember that. We're two different creatures. We're not going to think and feel and believe how you guys do. So for women, from a woman's perspective, being an emotional creature, we thrive on those emotions. And yes, they can make us up and they can make us down. And yes, our mate can help in bringing us up, and our mate can also help in bringing us down. Because in a marriage, as one, you feel what your partner kind of feels. Well, I do. If my husband comes in the door and he's not the 100% that I know he's feeling away. So that's an alert for me. And if I can't seem to get him past that feeling, then I'm kind of feeling kind of crappy too, because I want to know, babe, what can we do to feel better?
Quick question. I've heard you refer to women in saying that we're emotional creatures. Is that a benefit? Is that a good thing or not a good thing? One or the other. I'm asking you. When you say we're emotional creatures.
I don't think it is a good thing. I don't think it is a good thing, but our hormone balance brings us there, unfortunately.
Okay, hold on. It's good. You know what? What you just said really keeps me from having anything more to say. First of all, the fact that you admit that it's not good, and then because it is a difference, this is good now. This is where now what you just said really totally changes the temperature of everything that's going on. Because what you just said, you brought something to the attention that we don't talk about: the difference between a man and a woman. It's not good to be emotional or overly emotional. And I think I'm going to focus on
Absolutely
being
isn't.
overly emotional. And as a man, I recognize that women do have that. I don't want to call it as a problem, but since you said it's not good, they
It
have
is.
that.
It's not.
Okay, because women have that as a character trait, I'll say, it should be more reason to say, okay, I'm being emotional. I need to take responsibility for what I could be contributing to anything being down. Because you know what? If a woman is emotional, really overly emotional, it will have an effect. A man has a choice as to whether he's going to respond to that, but it has a strong impact on how we react. We really do vibe off of your energy. And if you have an attitude, for lack of a better word, or if you're emotional, I'll put it that, we feel that
Yeah.
it's going to change our temperature. We have to be stronger.
Exactly.
And most of us are, especially when we can talk to each other. You know, iron sharpens iron. And when I can talk to a brother who's down for something he's feeling that his significant other is doing, I always say to him, you have to rise above that. And you have to be the one to stay focused, because we can't hold her responsible for that character trait. That's why we are the stronger
Absolutely, you
one.
guys cannot hold us responsible for that, for the simple fact that that's hormonal, and that's beyond our control sometimes. And if it's an excessive thing, then if he cares about her to that degree, then he needs to suggest to her, maybe that's something you need to talk to your gynecologist about, because that's something that can be straightened out.
Okay, listen.
If someone is willing to recognize that they have an issue,
Okay.
getting past themselves.
There you go. That's where that conversation and listening and hearing and paying attention and looking at what's left after we've removed ourselves from the equation. But I want to be, honest with what I said. I was going to keep you for a certain amount of time, and our time has come.
Yeah.
This has been a very good conversation. I really appreciate you, for interacting with me. I think we're going to need to do it again because, okay, I'm going to make an appointment with you again. I'd like to have you back, maybe not for a regular Wednesday. Maybe we'll do a special. I would like to talk to you about the difference between men and women, or a man and a woman, masculine and feminine. I really want to talk to the difference. And before that's going to be our next subject. Is there a difference, and what is the difference between a man and a woman? Let me ask you this real quick before we go.
Sure.
Is a man and a woman equal, yes or no?
Absolutely they are, but there's difference.
Okay, hold on. Hold on. Slow down, because we're going to go. We're going to go in about 90 seconds. But I really want clarity, because our next topic is going to be, is there a difference, and what is the difference? First of all, you say there is a difference, correct?
Yes.
But then you just said men and women are equal. How can there be a difference and then we're equal?
There's a difference, and you're equal because there's a balance that makes it equal.
Okay, listen to my specific and direct question, and then I'm gonna try to close now. Is a man and a woman equal, yes or no?
Yes.
Wow. But then you also say that a man and a woman is different from each other.
Absolutely.
This is going to be a very good conversation. I think I want to do it within the next 10 days. Can you commit to that for me?
I will commit.
Okay, listen, thank you so much. It's been a long time. I promise we're going to catch up big time, because there's a lot of things we didn't discuss and we can talk about from way back then, even up until now. And I'm looking forward to that. Aren't you?
I am.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Anything in closing before we go? Because I really want to keep going, because there's a contradiction on the table and I don't like to leave things, but it's going to be juicy when we come back to it. But as far as, this post about releasing feminine energy, is there anything you want to say on that before we go?
Well, again, just know your role in your household and do your part. and that takes less energy out of someone else.
Okay.
So that they can deliver their part to you.
Good. Okay, I received that. I'm gonna let you go, and I'm gonna call you back in a little bit. But I'm gonna go ahead and close the live stream now, and I'll get back with you in just a little bit. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
blessed
We'll talk
show.
soon. You got it. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, another guest and another segment of SWIM, SWYM. That is the acronym for Say What You Mean. This was one of those subjects that I thought was interesting, and it's kind of sort of like therapy for me. When I hear something that I think warrants a little input, I like to put a little in. And that's what I was able to do, speak to my friend, and she was able to allow me to put some input. But we're going to have, part 2. We're going to do a special edition, the difference between a man and a woman, and if there's a difference and what that difference is, how much a difference it is. But she says, well, equal, we're the same. I'm going to leave it there. I'm not going to try to get into that. Anyway, here's hoping that you will have a fantastic rest of the week, rest of the month and all that. We are into a new month. Happy October to everybody. Find someone you need to say, I love you too. Don't just say, oh, I want to say this before I go. This is just what I would consider a closing thought. Man, this lady just talked about emotions. Man, I am learning in my old age that a strong and powerful emotion can really ruin almost anything. An emotion is almost a lack of control. And when people are emotional and or overly emotional, they're not thinking. And it is. I asked her if it was if it was a good thing, and she said, no, it's just, the way we're wired, and I'll accept that and leave it alone. But I just want to say this, in my second, third, fourth closing. Be careful to recognize when you're being emotional or more or overly emotional. It can really ruin, a good time, a conversation. People are trying to make points and resolve chaos. If you're overly emotional, it's really going to continue to create problems. Not saying you can't have feelings. It's not what I'm saying. But recognize, truth, facts, information, evidence, and be able to withdraw your personal agenda or your personal emotions from logic. Not saying logic is everything, but it definitely is a strong foundation for most things. On that note, have yourself a good rest of the week. Find someone you need to say I love you to. Don't just say it, but do me a favor, mean it and show it. Have a good night. Love you.
The Swimming Pool with Travis Bridges is a talk segment about talking. Talk about talking? Yes, talk about talking. It's designed to bring awareness to how we listen, how we hear, and what we do with the information we receive during communication. The mind is automatically programmed to protect the body and soul. It displays that through each and every encounter we experience. If any part of the body is threatened, the mind will automatically issue the flight command. The flight command to retreat to safety. Well, that same command is also deployed when our ego is threatened. The ego, yes, the ego. It's so natural and common, it happens oftentimes without us even knowing. Engaging in conversation and staying focused on what is present is considered mental fitness. It strengthens our emotions and helps us to gain control of our circumstances instead of having our circumstances overtake our thinking and our very existence. It's a difficult task to achieve because our feelings, beliefs, and desires are so strong that it causes us to totally disregard even the most common or basic reasoning. This live stream is only here to bring awareness to that subconscious process. Nothing or no one is actually wrong. However, the idea of being open to anything outside of what we've already concluded is golden, especially if the new information is transparent. The swim developers would like to say thanks for supporting, watching, listening, and sharing this information. Now, back to the swimming pool. Let's dive in and swim. SWYM. Swim. Say what you mean. As much as this information is designed to bring awareness to how we listen, hear, and process, it is also a form of therapy. The little person inside of all of us needs to be heard. As adults, even listening to ourselves is a form of healing, strengthening, and growth. It's okay to speak, talk, express yourself, and be heard, even if you're the only listener. If our testimony does anything at all for anyone else, that makes the continued effort worth the time. Get the words out. You'll feel better, and that's a promise. Thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate it.
You know, sometimes it seems like all the good times are gone. But you got to keep on searching. You got to keep on keeping on. Keep on keeping on. For example, take me
Sitting right here today.
I would not be here with you if I believed the things that the people say. You got to keep on searching. Keep on searching. Keep it on the cool side. Keep it on the cool side. Keep on looking around.
Good night, y'all. Thank you.